Saint Faustina Kowalska, the Polish mystic known as the Apostle of Divine Mercy, left many writings that still intrigue theologians, believers, and scholars today. Among her visions are reports that mention signs in the sky, moments of great disturbance on Earth, and phenomena that resemble cosmic events of frightening proportions. Faustina described the world as being on the verge of a spiritual collapse, preceded by visible signs that would make the heavens tremble. And here begins the question that haunts those who know her story. Could she have been talking about lights in the sky as a warning to humanity? Faustina wrote in her diary, "Divine mercy in my soul," that before the day of judgment there would be a great sign to alert everyone about the state of their souls. Many interpret this as cosmic phenomena, inexplicable lights, or even auroras of unusual brightness. These phenomena would be, for her, God's last call for conversion. Stop and think, how many times have you looked up at the sky and seen something you couldn't explain? How many mysterious reports circulate around the world about lights that no one can justify? If we consider Faustina's words, these lights may be more than just astronomical curiosities. They may be a direct warning. Now, imagine yourself, on an ordinary day, driving to work or walking down the street, and suddenly the sky lights up in colors and shapes that defy all human logic. Faustina said that this moment would not be for the faint of heart. It is at that moment that people would realize that science cannot explain everything. The phenomena would be so grand that doubts would fall away, and fear would be replaced by the certainty that something greater is about to happen. You may ask yourself, but what if it's just a coincidence? Faustina answered indirectly in her visions, "With God, there are no coincidences." There are historical records that may coincide with Saint Faustina's prophecies. Many scholars point to events such as the unusual aurora borealis phenomenon. A striking example was the night of January 25, 1938, when an unusually strong aurora was seen in several parts of Europe, including areas where auroras do not usually occur. Interestingly, it was precisely during this period that the Second World War was beginning to take shape. Coincidence? Or was it a premonition, as described by Faustina? Even the most skeptical must admit that the synchronicity is disturbing. But what about the revelation that few know about? Saint Faustina mentioned that during these cosmic signs, the souls of all people would be flooded with a deep sense of their own spiritual condition. In other words, these lights would not only be for the eyes, but also for the conscience. An event so powerful that everyone, without exception, would feel in their hearts a kind of anticipated judgment. Faustina called this the Great Warning, a moment in which each human being would face his own soul and, in the silence of his conscience, would see his mistakes, sins, and successes as never before. Are you ready for something like this? And the scariest thing is that, according to her accounts, there would be nowhere to hide. Have you ever noticed how, nowadays, we are constantly distracted? Whether with social media, work, or simple everyday concerns, we almost never stop to reflect on who we really are. Faustina believed that these signs would be precisely to remove this distraction and force each person to face the truth. What if it were today? Would you be ready to look to the sky and, at the same time, inside yourself? Interestingly, the theme of lights in the sky appears in other religious and mystical traditions. In the Bible, for example, we find references to falling stars and signs in the sky before the Last Judgment. Even in ancient cultures, such as the Mayans, there are reports of celestial phenomena as precursors of great events. But what sets Faustina's visions apart is the focus on inner transformation. These lights would not be just a spectacle, but the beginning of something much greater, perhaps the last chance for humanity. Another point that deserves attention is the message of hope that Faustina also left. Despite their apocalyptic tone, she firmly believed in divine mercy. In her words, these signs were not meant to cause fear, but to awaken souls. God always gives one last chance, she wrote. It is as if these lights were a heavenly invitation, a reminder that, despite everything, there is still time to change the course of our lives. And you, what would you do with a second chance? Still, the question remains, why are so many people unaware of this part of Faustina's revelations? The answer may lie in human nature itself. We are quick to ignore what we do not understand or what challenges us to change. And perhaps that is precisely why these signs need to be so evident. Because without them, many of us would continue to live as if nothing were going to happen. So, when you look up at the sky today, will you see only ordinary stars? Or will you begin to wonder if there is something more behind the lights that illuminate our nights? What did Saint Faustina really want to warn us about? Now think about it. If the lights in the sky really were a divine sign, how would you react? Would you run out to look for answers, or would you simply ignore them, thinking that it was not something important? Saint Faustina left us a clear warning. Our attention to signs should go beyond what meets the eye. She said that these manifestations are not meant to scare us, but to call us to reflection. Have you ever stopped to reflect on what might be happening around us without us realizing it? Sometimes, the biggest warnings are in the simplest things, like a natural phenomenon that suddenly appears. What if these lights were an opportunity for change? Think about the small moments when you felt that life gave you a little push to change your path. Faustina believed that God uses the signs from the sky to wake us up in an impactful way, because, let's face it, we are often resistant to change. Who has never postponed an important decision until something much bigger forced them to act? Maybe, when you look at the sky one of these days, you will feel that push. Have you ever thought about how this could change your life? Another interesting point is how these phenomena can unite people. Imagine a night when everyone sees the same sign in the sky, and for a moment, feels connected by something much greater than cultural, religious, or political differences. Faustina seemed to foresee that, in the midst of chaos, these signs would have the power to remind us that we are one humanity, one family, and that what really matters is beyond the material. Have you ever thought about how much we are separated by small things, while such great signs can be an invitation to unity? You may be wondering, but why would God choose cosmic signs to warn us? Why not something more direct? The answer, according to Faustina, lies in the universality of these signs. Lights in the sky can be seen by anyone, anywhere in the world, without barriers of language or belief. It is a global call that reaches the heart of each person, regardless of who they are or where they are. Now, if this were to happen tonight, would you be attentive enough to understand the message? Before we conclude, it is important to say that the intention of this video is not to alarm you, but rather to open a space for reflection. The signs in the sky, as described by Saint Faustina, can be interpreted in many ways, but the main point is, are we prepared to see these signs as an opportunity for growth? We would like to invite you to think about this, share your opinion in the comments, and tell us, have you ever seen something in the sky that caught your attention? What did you feel? Leave your experience here and participate in this important discussion.